Further in the series on where to find ideas for your scrapbooking, I wanted to show you this idea. I was at my local library and the local crafting association were having a show of some quilts. That gave me the idea for this layout, and what I've done is I've cut up little tiny pieces of paper into strips, into squares, and even tinier squares, and I've laid them out in a pattern like a quilt. I didn't really have a photograph that would go with this layout, but what I've discovered is that by looking around I found that I could take a photograph that would match this, and it's of a quilt that my mother patchworked together of different crocheted squares. So in this case the layout came before the actual photo. So if you keep an eye out everywhere you go, you'll find some really interesting ideas. Another great place to think of is your ad in 3D magazine. I was looking in a magazine, saw this and thought it looked really pretty, so I pulled the page out and kept it aside, and I thought that the detail here would be really nice to add on top of a photograph. I could paint that on, or I could use gel ink pens to do the same thing. And if you don't feel confident about what you're doing, you could trace the design onto some of that clear OHP. So trace the design on, get your craft knife out, cut out the design, and then place it down on your photograph and paint, or gel ink, or even you could use some glitter glues and things like that. So there's lots of different ways that you can explore a very simple pattern. This was another advert that I saw in a magazine that I'll be using for one of my layouts, and I hope to copy this effect along the side by cutting out in the pictures. And this ad here that I saw, I thought that was a really pretty little effect along the bottom. So I've actually begun the work on that. And what I did was, first of all, I traced out the design on tracing paper. I then drew that onto the back of the photograph, and then using my crafting knife I cut it out. You can see here I've actually followed through all of the cuts, and then I've added extras just to give it a little bit more because I thought it needed it. But that's how I'm going to use this simple idea from this magazine advertisement. I'm going to reproduce it in a layout. So I hope you like those ideas. I hope that they're helpful, and I hope that they'll get you looking for different ideas in different places.